Bien, muy buenos días, buenas tardes. Les saludo
Good
desde
morning,
acá,
good
desde Concepción,
afternoon.
directo desde Chile,
Greetings
para
from the
Chile.
Southern Cone,
Bien,
from
la
Chile.
reflexión que hemos hecho como país
What
nosotros
we've
es
thought
que
about
hemos
in our country
alcanzado, a
is
consecuencia de la
how,
pandemia,
as a consequence of the
comenzamos a
pandemic,
ver
we
la
could
enorme
manage to
desigualdad
deal with the very
entre
high
el
levels of
acceso
inequality we're now
a la
seeing,
educación
especially in terms of
presencial
access
y de
to
manera telemática. Hay una
education, be
excesiva
it in person
presión
or
en nuestros
online.
sistemas educativos,
In our
donde el
educational
rendimiento
systems, we
estudiantil
see that there
continúa
is
desequilibrado, lo que da
exaggerated
finalmente una
orientations of certain
desorientación en la
parts, and this has
profesionalización
led also
y
to the
también un
fact that teaching
crecimiento del
is
turismo
no longer a
universitario
highly
que ha obligado a
appreciated profession,
diseñar
and that many of our curricula have characteristics that will have to be reviewed as well. This
La
is a
pandemia
situation we see in many other
sin
countries
duda
in the world.
alguna
The
también ha
social and
metido
educational
mucho
crisis
jaleo
and
para
the
nosotros como país,
pandemic has given rise to serious criticism. I think this happened in our country and again in other countries as well. And we need to make progress in educational transformation. This is necessary. In the case of Chile, we're taking advantage also of the change in the political calendar so as to be able to bring about change on this front as well. I think we have talked about 4 different areas of change that are necessary so as to make it possible for us to improve our educational system and meet our international agenda. First of all, the idea of education as a social right, which effectively allows there to be educational justice and to promote the active role of citizens. Also, to have a situation in which our productivity and our national budget from year to year are oriented in this direction as well. Secondly, recognition and strengthening of the professionalism of educational workers. And for this, I think we need to make progress with educational systems which trust teachers and their educational knowledge and their own development as agents who produce development, who are motors for change. And I think this is also true of many other educational systems throughout the world. Then we need to make progress with an educational system which is not just centered on measuring certain metrics. This is something we also have to do in Chile. We have to put ourselves on a much broader basis and talk about students' development, much broader based information to involve educational communities and allow them to not simply have strict measurements, but to also have integral forms of learning and to be able to have ongoing development of their own capacities. This, I think, is something we see in other sectors, not just the educational sector, but there is a difference, I think, that has to be made given the very important territorial and other contextual factors that are at play here. And then finally, the role of this development we're looking for involves rolling out a curriculum which will promote life in the 21st century to be able to be a very important aspects such as global citizenship, sustainable development, and to have much more territorially based elements which also take account of the context.